Hello and welcome to another episode of No Load Time. My name is Obed Velez, and with me is the most interesting man in the world, Joel Young.
What's good? No load time. Obed, good to be with you, my friend. I think we're gonna have a great show today, as always.
As always, sir, pleasure to see you. How you doing?
Oh my goodness. I'm still recovering from last week's episode. I will say that.
Oh,
My
this,
goodness.
this, and we're on track for a sequel. So,
Oh man. Yeah, no, it was a great time and yeah, I've been pretty busy of late. I think you as well. We both were saying,
yeah,
it's been busy, even just things are picking up on personal side, but I did get a chance to watch Bad Batch. Have you seen the new episode of Bad Batch yet? Are we going to
yeah.
talk about
I
this?
watched
Okay.
both, whatever both the last two were. Yeah, yep,
Okay, good, good.
yep.
Before we get into that though, I'm on my last episode of Jack Ryan, so I'm almost done with that one. I think I was talking about that a little bit last week as well. Still holding up pretty good. Recommend it to you for sure. It's pretty cool because like just like how most of the Tom Clancy stuff very much was reflective of the real world of like okay, like the war in Iraq or this or whatever. Like there was always some level of real story, but then mixed with like a fictitious entertainment right aspect to it, right, creating these other things. So they do a really good job of still keeping that alive. Obviously it's a Tom Clancy character, Jack Ryan, but the story is obviously an original. But like with this one, without spoiling too much, they talk a lot about, what's going on between Russia and Ukraine, like the real stuff that's currently going on. So it's very relevant. It's talking about, disinformation and why intentionally these things would be set up in a way that would cause potential political conflict and espionage, and it's just a really really cool way they do it. They don't do it in a way that's like how do I put it, it's very politically unpolitical, if that makes sense. Like it's political because
It has
this
to
is
do with
a
like,
battle,
okay, yeah,
right? It's like a battle of nations and governments, but it's not like in this way of like let me go preach to you a lesson and make you start
yeah.
having to like think about things. Like if anything, you could just see how it mirrors reality, but it's not. I don't know how to put it that way, where it's not trying to preach to
It's
you
like Metal
something.
Gear.
Yes, yes, like
Yeah,
Metal Gear.
Metal Gear.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
actually, Metal Gear gets preachy, but it gets
it
preachy
does.
with like nukes and
Yeah,
WMDs basically. So that's
yeah.
they don't really get preachy about any specific
No,
ideology. It's more of like the consequences of
not obviously
yeah,
some people would say like it's American propaganda and this and that, and
yeah.
so I respect, some arguments around that. So I don't want to be insensitive to that part too, right? But no, I really have enjoyed it, to be honest. I think it's one of the better. I think I like it a lot better than last season when they were in Venezuela. That was good, but it
Okay.
wasn't as strong as this one. This one's much stronger. Hopefully, I mean, I'll see how the finale ends, but I'm hopeful that they'll continue with another season because um it's not, it's always very like big scale, but it's not like they're trying to make him like Captain America or something. Like he is an agent. Like he's an agent that's doing the dirty work that people don't see, but it's nothing um that the scale is something that seems like ridiculous. They have to up it every season. It can just be another intriguing story conflict and carry on, which is how I think Jack Ryan should be. Anyways, however, I do believe I mentioned this before also about how they're going to bring the character into the next Michael B. Jordan movie, which is going to be like the Rainbow Six Siege. They're going to create that one and have him cross over into it as well. Meeting him there from the Without Remorse movie being canon. So pretty cool to see the Tom Clancy universe still getting some love. It's been a while since we've gotten a game. Right? Division was the last big one.
Yeah, Division. I mean, there's rumors that they're working on a revival for Splinter Cell, so
Okay.
that may be a
Which at
thing.
one point they were gonna make a movie on that too, I
Yeah,
believe,
yeah,
but like
yeah,
Tom Hardy or something. It's like
yeah,
a long time ago.
yeah. Oh, yeah, that was a while ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Oh man. Not. I mean, it's been super busy, man. I really haven't had time. I haven't watched The Last of Us, the last episode. There's an episode dropping tonight because
Yeah,
they don't
ahead of
want
the
to
Super
compete.
Bowl.
I handle Super Bowl, so they don't want to compete with that, which is pretty smart. But I haven't had a chance to watch the last one. I did watch Wakanda Forever.
Please.
Okay.
The floor is yours.
Spoiler alert. We're going to go into spoilers because we haven't talked spoilers about this movie.
Yep.
You
Aside
know,
from my spoiler video, that was separate.
yep. So be warned. The next, I don't know, 10-ish minutes probably. We're gonna be talking Wakanda Forever, and we're gonna be talking spoilers. So you're warned. I liked it. I liked it. I think I agree 100% with you that it was probably the better movie since Spidey. Um, Probably a better overall movie than Spidey. I want to say it was really good, right?
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Visually, like really good, man. Like the visuals in this movie are
On your TV part was
legit.
awesome.
Yeah, it was really good. It was really good visually. So, um, that said, I want to go into the meat and potatoes here. Um, I liked everyone. I even liked, although I wanted T'Challa to get recast. Um, I think the send off was a very respectful one. It was very well done, very emotional, and from that perspective, I think it was good. That said, again, spoiler alert, right? The movie gears up to like, sure is gonna be a temporary Black Panther because, you know, so it's, they and I think that they could benefit from maybe whenever this franchise comes back, having a time jump and then making it happen, and that's probably what's gonna happen, right? And yeah, it was good overall. I really like Namor. Namor was really good.
Right.
Namor was really good, man. That dude, like out of nowhere, Mexican guy that never done a movie in his life, and
Amazing.
just nailed it, and he was really good. I think that visually, like Talocan was really nice. Like everything was really well done. Kind of cool how they look normal in their water, but then they're blue when they go out of the water. That whole thing is really cool too, and real well done. Yeah, it was emotional. It was good, action packed. Some of the sequences were really good. That car chase sequence was really good. Um, Tying up kind of with Winter Soldier, Captain America and Winter Soldier, or whatever we want to call it. I mean, that's what the title was at the end of the show, right? It was Captain America and the Winter Soldier, right? So
Yeah.
Falcon Winter Soldier. I mean, And we're back, I think. Let me see. Just waiting. Hey, we're back. So, yes, Ironheart was good. She was good. I found out later that that actress actually um, auditions for Shuri originally, and
Yeah.
was turned down. And then they called her back because they still liked her quite a bit. So that was cool. And she was good. Like it wasn't overplayed, right? And it wasn't like, oh, she's gonna be replacing Tony Stark, like a lot of people were saying. So I think that they did it well. um, yeah, overall, man, I really enjoyed it. We really enjoyed it quite a bit. So I don't know if there's anything specifically that you want to talk about the movie
Yeah.
that we haven't discussed before. So
Yeah, no worries. I mean, I think like you hit on the head when you were saying about how like they clearly set up there will be another T'Challa. Guys, and we're talking spoilers.
yeah,
But what I do like about the movie is like if you're gonna make another movie, you have to pay respect to Chadwick. You can't just act like he's gone, move on, whatever. And they did that very respectful. And it's really the whole movie is almost like a love letter to him and his portrayal, which is awesome.
yeah,
Because I was afraid it was gonna be like move out the way, Shuri's in town, whatever, and keep
yeah,
going. And they didn't do that, and that's what was really nice about it. And then like so expanding the Wakanda mythology, great, cool. But then by bringing in now, Namor and his people, that's really important, not just because the character itself is a really important character, but I think as you move into the next phase of the MCU, and this is just me speculating, and what we're going to be seeing with King being a big bad, similarly how like the Wakandan army, the battle in Wakanda you see in Infinity War, I think you're gonna have similar type stuff. Obviously, we see King has a massive army. We see, just from the trailers of Ant-Man the Wasp: Quantumania.
yeah,
I think the same thing you're gonna see again, where there's gonna be a need of armies to fight this dude, and having the Atlanteans and obviously the Wakandans together fighting against Kang will be important, right? Like they're now you don't just see all of a sudden characters just show up. We care about these characters, and that's something that Marvel has done really well at in the past when they build on these kinds of things. Then when they show up in these big ensembles, we actually like know more about them. We care more about them. They're not just people who it's like, okay, cool, just go punch something, and that's something that DC, not to slight them, but had really struggled with in the past, where characters showed up and then just kept moving, and hopefully that changes for them. But no, I really was glad with the take they had here, and like you said, really the first like okay, we they did a movie and it was safe out of all the
yeah.
other ones that we got in Phase 4, where
Hit and
man, I mean
miss, and shows were hit and
yeah,
miss, and yeah,
you had really good ones and you had really down
yeah,
ones, and this was one of the ones like, okay, safe, we're good time. Supposedly they're working on a show that will be kind of like, instead of like
for
Wakanda, like
Ironheart,
instead of, well, Lionheart for sure,
Ironheart, yeah,
but supposedly instead of like Black Panther 3, supposedly they're working on like a Disney Plus show. Like it's gonna be kind of like the same characters, but just on TV. So that would be cool.
okay,
Namor, I hope gets a movie. I hope Namor gets a movie at some point. If you don't, it's fine. I'm not gonna be angry about it,
yeah,
but something I'd like to see.
and he'll be back for sure. Like he was
Yeah,
really good. He was really good.
yeah,
Um, I he's not a very he's not he's like a C tier,
yeah.
maybe even D tier character, right? I mean we've known about Namor because we've been asking about Namor since the beginning of the show.
We're
It's like,
we're
where's
Shreddies. We're
Namor?
Shreddies.
Yeah, the Submariner. So yeah, I'm sure he'll be back in some capacity, right? Because of representation, and I think that the way they represented him was good, and at the end he gets the sort of, I don't think he was more like Thanos, right? He was like a gray area villain, but he does get
Hmm.
a change of heart at the end of the movie. um but he's doing it to protect his people, like versus Thanos. He's out there, it's like, oh, I want to bring things to balance because it's probably gonna be fun, right?
Yeah.
But he's like, generally that he wants to protect his people. They don't want him to lose their land, how their ancestors lost their land to, the Spaniards when they started colonizing. So uh, he has a motive, right? And I think that there was a missed opportunity with Doom, right? Because there was supposed to be like a lot of like Doctor Doom stuff in this movie that got cut out.
You can tell. You can
Yeah,
tell.
yeah, yeah. You could tell for sure. And but overall, really enjoyed it. It's yeah, it like it feels like the hole left by Chadwick. The void is not a hole.
I
You can
know.
feel it throughout the entire movie, dude.
Oh my gosh, bro.
And and it's tough sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like you can tell that they're trying really hard, and that's totally fine. But it's a void that they're not gonna be able to fill up,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Eventually, we'll get to the point where this will have a restart, and we'll get a new Black Panther. But for the time being, man, it was tough in some areas, but overall, I really enjoyed it. I think it was very good. I mean, I
Yeah.
liked it better than Strange and the Thor for sure. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, better than
No,
She Hulk.
ooh,
how,
yeah.
how many She Hulks out of five it gets?
Ooh, there's a lot. She-Hulk made like Love and Thunder, bro, look like the Academy Award winning
Freaking Citizen Kane over
potential.
here.
Yeah, bro. Seriously. I mean, that was like you asked me to watch one or the other.
That
Let's go
was
Thor.
that was rough, man. That was
Man.
rough. We're very objective, and we're not like we're not
Yeah.
we're not doing it because we're haters and whatnot.
We
But like
defended it.
we
We
defended it
defended
the
the
first
first
two
like
the first two
one.
episodes.
Yeah,
We're
once you got
good.
past, remember the Meg the Stallion episode? Like once we got past, we were like, "Oh no,
Yeah, when
this
that
is not
happened, I was like,
good.
oh no, yeah, that was the oh
This is
no
not. This
moment
is not gonna go
because it,
anywhere."
it went downhill from there.
Yeah,
Yeah, really, it went hard, dude.
we defended it at first. People could check the record.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So yeah, no, it was I enjoyed it, man. Long, man. That was
Yeah,
we
yeah,
had
it's a
to
long
we had
one.
to split it because it was like,
No, for
man,
sure.
I
Yeah,
was asleep.
and then the way it is, it almost is like a TV show in some sense. You can definitely stop it and pick it up,
Yeah, yeah, it's very segmentalized. Yeah, yeah,
right?
that's yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. It's maybe they're testing the water in that in the segmentalizing the movie, and it does feel like a 4 or 5 episode thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know what? You're
Yeah.
right. You're right. Yeah, but yeah, overall, I enjoyed it. So not much to say
Good.
there.
Good.
Yeah. Bad Batch, 2 good episodes.
Yeah.
That we got. Tana Lore. Finally,
Spoilers ahead, folks. Spoilers
spoiler
ahead.
again. Spoilers for Bad Batch. Hopefully, we don't have any technical issues. Actually, you know what? Let me do a wellness check on my graphics card. uh, that's what.
Apologies to the folks on Twitch. It looks like that's the one that's struggling, but Facebook
So,
seems to be fine.
yeah, Facebook's fine. YouTube's fine right now. I
Yeah.
refreshed and it looks like it's back up. Um, yeah, it's my graphics card got overloaded, so I had to lower
No load
the
time had some load time.
yeah, and all the time I had some load time. So yeah, good stuff. So Senator Chachi she was in Clone Wars, right?
She was. Yep.
Okay.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I knew that I remember her from somewhere.
Yep.
Um so I'm glad that they actually went through this and showed um you know how the clones are being affected by everything that's happening around them, and the fallout from Order 66, the rest of the empire, them being deemed obsolete, the new proposal for recruitments, and it's really cool to see it from the point of view of the clones, right? Oh, and the big one, the clones being treated as second class beings, like kind of like
Yeah.
droids, right? There's like they
Yeah.
had no, technically no rights, right? So that was a very interesting point of view. Oh, it's a kids show, by the way, right?
I know.
It's a kids show, by the way. The An assassin offing himself. I was like, I was gonna text you. It's like, is this kids show?
Come on, kids, gather around and watch Bad Batch.
Yeah, man.
Ooh.
Um, so that was really interesting. It was very cool to see, the politics, and cool to see how the empire was doing these things, but not really presenting it to the Senate. So to the Senate, basically, they presented that everything was great. There's peace across the galaxy, but all these reports are bullcrap, and it's like not none of this is happening, man. It's like they're cutting trees and blowing up mountains to gather resources and do their thing. And yeah, I mean, we kind of saw some of it in Andor, right?
Yes.
And on Rogue One, when it's like, oh yeah, Jedi, nothing happened. What happened to Jedi? It was a mining accident.
Right.
Vader was like, nothing happened. It was an unfortunate mining accident. That's it. You know. So yeah, it's really cool to see that sort of thing going on. So and then this last episode was also like, go ahead, man.
The whole thing around this specific bill around basically the switch from clones to human stormtroopers, like that's what this whole thing's about, right? Like how they need to get this thing switched over. And the way it ends, like just jumping to this point of understanding that there was no way they were going to win either way. Like there was like the Empire was going to have their way either way. They were either going to get it passed because nobody knew what the truth about what happened in Camino, or they were going to get it passed because they were going to say because of what happened, with these people, where it's like they need to have actual people and treating them. Oh, bro, the moment
Yeah.
you get to the end and that thing opens and the boss
The
himself,
sound on
Palpy,
alarm.
shows up.
The sound on, like, get ready.
Oh my, I was like, no, he's like, I'm stepping in to make sure that this deal gets done today.
Yeah.
And one of his force abilities that people don't talk about often is speaking.
Yeah.
Like one of his abilities that he's able to
Persuasion. Yeah.
really persuade people,
Yeah.
right? And it's just it's so, and the few that don't get persuaded, we obviously see Organa and Chachi, and so it's cool
Mothma and all these guys. Yeah.
Mothma, right? But like Andor, totally is gonna have to finally give us the whole who's how these people get out of this, because the Senate, it dissolves, the Senate doesn't exist anymore. It turns to complete absolute power under Palpy
Well,
by the
yeah.
time we get to episode
To
4.
episode 4. Yeah.
So there's this moment where you're seeing it doesn't matter how much the Senate tries to do what they want to do. It does not matter. Palpatine will have his way. The Emperor will make sure what he wants to happen happens. He just had to keep up a facade, but for
Yeah.
so long, obviously, we see where that leads.
Yeah.
What a fantastic episode! What
it
a
was really
great,
good.
great one.
Yeah, really good. And it was great how he was able to turn, uh, like the plan onto themselves, right? I was like, oh, the plan is to expose them, so this bill's not gonna get done. And Poppy comes out, it's like, oh yeah, you exposed them. That's why the bill's gonna get done,
Right.
because like now we have no security, right?
These people were following orders.
Yeah, yeah. So man, it was so good. So
Oh my
it was
gosh.
really good. Like I really like the politics of behind this whole thing. So it was very well done.
This reminded me of my favorite episodes in Andor. Like my favorite episodes in Andor were the Empire stuff. Like nothing against
Yeah,
the rebels or whatever,
yeah.
but like the moment they, like the whole like people turning on each other and
The back
vying
and
for
forth.
power and all this
Yeah,
stuff, like all that. I love that stuff, right?
yeah,
In Andor, these two episodes were like that, where you're seeing like the battle on the floor of the Senate mixed with obviously like the physical battle that you see the Bad Batch and the clones going through. What were really, really cool. I mean, there's so many elements of war. It's what's called Star Wars, and they really do a great job of landing that here. Again, not a kid's show. We talk about taxes, trades, how all
no,
these things start, where they lead to.
yeah,
Dealing with some huge, huge storylines.
yeah, yeah. It's pretty deep. We haven't had enough Crosshairs though.
Oh yeah.
Crosshair is such a good character. And I know that they're building something for him,
Mhm.
and I don't know. I'm hoping to see freaking because he was a sharpshooter Mayfield from Bill Burr come back at from Mando
Yeah,
because he was
yeah,
part of those squadrons that were like specifically trained for sharpshooting. So maybe he's the
true.
one that trained him, and that would be a pretty cool way to link the characters into
I,
that. So
I know because when I saw the assassin in this episode, my first thought was, "Oh, is that Crosshair? Like he's taking on a new identity, like
mm,
because of them trying to phase a program and being
yeah,
protected by Rampart, right? And being directly ordered by this dude,
bounty hunter or whatever. Yeah,
bounty hunter." But then I was like, "No, it's not." But the moment I knew it wasn't was when he missed the second shot
yeah,
against this other dude. I was like, "Crosshair don't
don't
miss."
miss. Yeah,
Like the way they established them, I thought it was episode 3 or whatever,
yeah,
dude. The moment you got like that one, I mean, other first season too, you see it. Don't get me wrong,
yeah.
but no, Crosshair don't miss. I was
Yeah, the
like,
thing
no,
with the
that ain't him.
mirror when he threw the mirror and all that. Yeah, no, cause like he
Yeah,
ain't gonna miss. Yeah,
no.
yeah. But he was good. It was two very good episodes. Lots of lore, lots of really like good Star Wars stuff. So, yeah, if you're not watching Bad Batch and you are remotely interested in Star Wars, go ahead and check it out. I do recommend it. It's pretty good.
It's got to cross over into the live action stuff sooner or later, right? Like Omega and all this stuff. There's gonna be Filoni's got executive TV now.
Yeah,
Creative control.
he does.
And
Yeah,
he's pretty much running all the live action TV shows that's going forward. Like you have to imagine.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. They would have to link it to Rebels first, and that's done. Um, so yeah, I mean, unless they do something at the end of the show to link it to like Ahsoka, right, and bring some of them back. Like, we don't know who's gonna be back, right? Because
Yeah,
Tim Morrison may be back as Rex, right? That's a rumor. It's been floating
yeah.
around for a while. So um, yeah, we'll see. It's pretty good. Joel, I don't know why, but let's take a quick break. Non-technical, but we'll be right back. And we're back. All right, Joel. The much-awaited Disney earnings call happened. Um, for the most part, for the company, it was positive, but they are getting rid of 7,000 employees, mostly from what I gather from the production slash studio slash media segment. And yeah, go ahead and take it, man.
Yeah, it's sad to see. Definitely my heart goes out to those who are losing their jobs right now due to the decisions that the tough decisions that are being made at this moment. Not much detail was given from Iger based on that side of things, aside from that it was an unfortunate thing that they had to do. It seems like there's a significant amount of cost cutting going on at Disney at the moment. Specifically, like for example, with the park side, like was it like 700 million or whatever is like less being spent or some crazy number around that. For the yearly budget. But then you look at Obed, like for example, like Disney Plus, it lost over 2 million subscribers, I want to say.
Yep.
Um, when we see numbers like that, then you can see where that would affect production because that would be, a huge issue. Now, I do wonder because yes, a lot of the stuff under production was in place from Iger when he was there the first time. um, and so when Chapek came in, I don't know how much of an influence he had on the shows that were and movies that were coming out on Disney Plus. I don't know if he just kind of let people do their thing, or if he was the kind of like authoritarian overlord who was like, I need to make decisions on X, Y, and Z. I don't know.
So
I
yeah,
don't really
my
know.
well, my understanding is that he created that DMED, right? It was like the Disney Media, whatever. Like
Right,
that, he
right,
created a separate segment
right.
and put a person in charge of that segment, and everything needed to get approved, right?
Mm,
So he took the approval process from the creatives and made it into a more structured process, and um, you know that's what created a lot of the problems that WB has been going through.
right.
And that was the first thing that Iger did, was to solve that division. And
Yeah.
the person that was in charge that was put there by Chapek was let go. And then now it looks like they're consolidating, and in the midst of that consolidation, they're getting rid of 7,000 people.
Right. That
So
that's how I interpret it. Is like
yeah,
that production, the Disney Plus thing, to then lead to that. Like, it had to have been connected.
yeah,
Now, of course, people's instant reaction is like, "Yeah, that's She-Hulk's fault" and stuff like that.
oh
It's not
yeah,
only, but it definitely,
yeah,
I'm sure, was a factor in why people cut their subscriptions.
oh
I
totally,
think it's
totally, totally,
also, let's be real. Like, I'm not gonna get political by any means, but let's be completely honest. Disney has been in the news over the last year, right before Iger came in. When Chapek was in for coming across as preaching on specific things that it did not resonate with probably half the country as well. And there was a big movement of people saying, cut your Disney. That could easily have been a factor behind it. Bad press doesn't help. I'm not going to get again into
yeah,
the semantics of that, but I think that's where Iger's trying to unify again the people and saying like, look, Disney's a safe place for everybody. We're not here trying to join or die or some kind of
it's not a cult.
movement. Right, it's not a cult. It's a place that's to be safe and fun. And this let's just have a good time. That's kind of the sense that you got with what they had done before. Where you have your different shows and things for everyone, the young, the old, the men, the women. Like you got your stuff. So hopefully that again, I don't want to speak about people losing jobs. That I feel really bad about for sure. But my hope is that if they are making moves on the production side, that the publicity around it starts to be more positive, and it's not something that's really turning people away. Because I like Disney Plus still. I still think it's great value for what the price is. I think there's a lot more to go, a lot more they need to do for sure.
Yeah,
There's a lot more content needs to be created. But right now, it almost seems to me like the cuts on the job part will affect, like you're saying, that side of the business. But really, it seems to me like right now the money is more going into how can we create a better experience at the parks, and that's what interests me. What are your did you saw that? I'm assuming about the conversation around more IPs and etc.
yeah, and Toy Story 5 and Frozen 3, and
Yeah,
bringing Avatar to Disneyland, and creating more synergy, and that's all fine, right? It just that they gotta step it up. At the end of the day, man, they gotta step it up. They've been dilly dallying for too long, and um, in between all that dilly dallying, a sleeping giant was awoken,
Yeah.
in Universal, and they really need to get their stuff together when it comes to parks, man. I mean, parks is their bread and butter. It's the only division that gives them, money hand over fist, basically. So the only division that doesn't really lose money is parks.
Right.
And their strategy is because parks is getting us money. We're not going to invest in parks. Take that money and put it somewhere else where it needs investing. And Universal is doing the opposite. Comcast is doing
Right.
the opposite. They're just investing on what people are paying for, which is their parks.
Yeah.
And I've been how long have I been saying that Disney has a problem where a lot of the people that work there just don't care. And I think
Yeah.
it's you know why are you looking for this talent that's not gonna you know give you the grade, and investing in this, and it's like, oh man, it's like, what was it again? May the force be with you on LinkedIn,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's my
Yeah.
joke.
Yeah.
I joke about it, but it freaking sucks, right?
Yeah.
it you know it And they gotta start doing a better job at not only keeping the talent that care about Disney, but finding new talent that cares about Disney and care about the legacy and care about the property. And it's about time. They need to wake up. They need to wake up. I think that there are a lot of people out there that have presented. And then there's many YouTube channels, right, about that cover Disney. Some better than others, for sure, right? Um, but you can tell that there's some passionate people out there, and I think it's about time for them to, um, you know, figure this out. Because
Yeah.
it's like yo, it's like you got about a year. You got about a year and a half. You got
Yeah.
about a year and a half. These guys are gonna
That-
open, bro. And that day, I'm probably gonna go to Magic Kingdom because there's not gonna be anyone in there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. That's the best day to go to Magic Kingdom because there's not gonna be anyone in there. So
Now,
yeah,
did you see with Magic Kingdom the rumors around Encanto, Coco, and a villains themed area behind where Splash Mountain, obviously now Tiana and and Thunder Mountain is the expansion behind there.
bro, I want to drop one on you.
Okay.
I'm gonna drop one on you. It's gonna be a big one, and some people are
Mm.
gonna get mad. From take that freaking Tom Sawyer Island that no one cares about and turn it into Encanto.
Yeah.
Build a
Yeah.
casita in the middle of the
Right.
island. Who cares about Tom Sawyer, bro?
No, it's an
They don't
ancient.
even
Yeah.
they don't even read it in schools anymore.
No, I know. Well, we know
I
why,
know, I know.
but
Yeah, exactly. Right. Mark Twain's a big deal, but
like of all the there's a lot of things I do agree with keeping like original from Walt Disney days. That's like something about it, just keeping it fresh. I respect like it's a small world, and like I respect that. Like I get there's something very special and very like original about it, and I
yeah,
like that, right? But Tom Sawyer Island ain't the one. Uh,
that needs to be
like
Encanto. That needs to be Encanto right there, man. And you know
the
what?
thing is, that's a lot of land for just the house.
No, they're gonna have it right. They have the house with the ride. They can build a house back there, like an actual
That's
ride
a lot of
feature.
land for like you gotta do. I think if
No,
anything,
bro.
you should do at least two things on that
Yep. I
land,
mean, you can get away with doing Encanto at least, right?
right?
And do a full retheme. No, no, man. I mean, if you look at it, it's not really that big. I mean, it gives you the illusion that it's big, but it's not really.
Yeah, looks like an
Yeah,
island.
yeah. Um, yeah. I think that's the bet. You know what? Again, talk about again. We gave you the Sonic idea for free for Rock and Roller Coaster. This is your chance, and you
Oh
won't take
yeah,
it. But now take that Tom Sawyer Island. No one cares about Tom Sawyer Island, and
yeah,
put and put the Encanto Island there. So I don't know, bro. It's
Yeah, yeah.
it's honestly missed opportunities. It's like what do we do? Right? It's like these people have been working at Disney for 20 years doing rides and building, working on the parks, and they can't come out with
Well,
ideas. It's like
well,
what
maybe
the
they
heck?
do have. That's the thing. I don't know that. Like maybe they do have these ideas. Maybe they're getting shot down by people, in
No,
places and
I
things. I
mean
mean, you
that's
and
the
I know
problem,
that
right?
that that
Oh
that
yeah,
kind of stuff in business semantics and
oh,
politics, and
totally, totally.
so I'm not saying that they don't have ideas. May just
Yeah,
be unfortunately the people who let them even make it to the desk of Iger don't let it ever get to his desk. I don't know. I mean, this is
Eh,
just my
it's
thoughts. There's
just
so many
yeah.
possibilities, but there's a lot of
Oh,
nonetheless
that's the problem.
missed
Yeah,
opportunities, definitely
yeah,
for sure.
yeah. It's
Which is Universal was waiting for this. They
yeah.
have been waiting for one Achilles
They
heel.
they they were waiting for them to slip on the hypothetical Mario Kart banana on
Yep.
yeah, and then we'll spin around, and then
This has been
that's the yeah,
years in the making. Seriously.
yeah,
They've
yeah,
been
man,
behind Disney, let Disney have their fun, do stuff, and what they do. Let's make a really solid, original,
yeah.
Despicable Me, Minions, and like let's take an IP that's really awesome,
Get their
Mario, and
IPs, yeah,
let's build a big land around it. Years and years, and buy out Wet n Wild and grow like they
yeah,
have been going years in the making.
yeah, man.
And here comes a couple years we're behind, like you're saying, a year and a half.
Year and a half, bro.
Um, and this year alone is just from a cinematic standpoint. Here comes this amazing. Now, what's the chances that the second Mario Bros. World movie, whatever, comes out the same time that they open up in 2025?
I
Like,
doubt
who's to
it.
say they aren't
I
going to work on a sequel and that comes out in 2 years?
I
It's
doubt it.
possible.
It's
It's
possible.
animated.
It's possible, but I doubt it. I doubt it.
I'm
I
not saying
doubt.
the
I
exact same
think
time. It may
no.
be end of
Here's
2025.
why I doubt it. Right, because Chiggy. Like if
Mm,
Chiggy doesn't like the movie, is he's not gonna let it happen. So if Shigeru Miyamoto watches the movie and he says that he didn't like it, how that's why we haven't had a Mario movie in all this time because he hated the Mario movie from the '90s, the Bob
yeah.
Hoskins Mario with John
Well,
Leguizamo's Luigi. But you
we,
know,
we who did like sorry. But
I think you know what I think that if you it's a matter of perspective for that movie because if you subvert your expectations I think
a lot.
I think it's actually quite a bold take
Sure,
on Mario, and it that's another discussion. We don't have enough time for that,
for sure.
but yeah, man, like they
But
gotta step it up.
if this movie makes, I mean, $500 million, they gotta make another one.
Oh, but Mario's gonna make
Mario.
two, bro. I told you, Mario's
That's
gonna make two.
I hear you. Look, I hear you. I'm not coming against that. I'm not coming against that. Like you, and then what if it gets nominated for Best Animated Picture? Like it could happen. This
Good,
could be like Into the Spider-Verse kind of
yeah,
thing,
yeah,
where you take out Disney again with where they usually win
and merchandising.
in
You
merchandising.
got merchandising coming in, so oh man, and games like Nintendo is like we'll talk Nintendo because there's two topics today: Disney and Nintendo. We'll talk about them.
Yep, yep.
Um, it's I don't know, man. It's I know, and I get it. Iger is trying to correct some of the wrongs and that happened at the tail end of his stay and when Chapek took uh, the reins. But at the same time, right? It's like you just can't you just can't live you just can't work like this, right? You just
No,
can't work
no,
like this, and um, I think that park goers deserve better. The nickel diming is ridiculous. I think the Genie Plus is an awful product, and this case the problem is that it's making the money, right? It's like excuse pardon my language, right? It's like farts in a can, right? It's like people are still gonna
yeah.
buy it, and you know,
Or the buying dirty water, literally.
yeah,
But
right.
but it is interesting the statement that you saw of him saying he's like, with all the money that we've made from the parks, one would assume that we would increase capacity and that we would raise the ticket sales. And he's like, he literally said, like, I don't think either one is the right choice. Like, we need to find a way to expand the parks to have, so then we can fill the capacity better, that there's more things to do. And I like that approach about what he said there. Now, I know you probably didn't like when he said that, he's called on Josh Romero to just find ways to integrate more intellectual properties, existing properties into the parks, because I know you want it to be like the old days where they created rides that were
See,
originals
but
that had nothing to do with their movies.
and that's that to me is whatever, right?
Okay.
At this point, they need whatever they can get.
Yeah.
Like beggars can be choosers, right? It's like
Yeah.
at this point, right? We we can't be investing on non IPs because and I'm a purist and I like you there's
Yeah.
several Epcot rants that I've had in this podcast, right?
Good ones. Yeah.
Um, but at the end of the day, times have changed and people go for the IP, right? The IP is attractive to fans, young fans, not so much older fans, but younger fans. They love IP synergy with the parks. So, at the end of the day, as long as they make it happen, I don't have a problem with it, right? That's the problem is that they're not making it happen. Missed
Right. Like Wreck-It
opportunities,
Ralph
right?
should have been
Oh,
at
bro,
Magic Kingdom a long time ago.
dude, at Epcot, there's like they closed that
Yeah.
the play pavilion is not happening. It's like missed opportunities, right? Why
I know the
don't you
games.
partner,
Yeah.
dude? It's like PlayStation has tons of money right now. They made a ton of money over Christmas. We saw that. Nintendo, they're already married, right? They can't
Hmm.
touch that. But again, I'm pretty sure is willing to create some synergy with their properties. I'm sure
Wait, you
PlayStation
don't
would
want them
like.
to make a deal with Microsoft? The
What does
Xbox
Microsoft
experience?
have, dude? What
Sorry.
does Microsoft, dude? What does Microsoft have? You tell
The
me
the Xbox experience
what's
brought
gonna
to you
have
by Microsoft.
both brought to you by third parties. Dude,
Savage.
you got Capcom out there. You got Sega. You got good
Yeah.
property. You got good companies that could create the good synergy with the Disney that they can coexist. Sega already did it, right? That's the thing. That's you need to think outside the box. And I'm not because my rant about the rights having to be original and all that. That's totally fine, right? But at the same time, you have a world
Mm,
of IPs from other companies that you could have a partnership with, like Universal
right.
did with Nintendo, and
Right.
you're not. I don't know. We're just gonna make Frozen 3, right? Come on, man.
I
Honestly,
mean, to be fair, it made a ton of money.
yeah, but still, right? They already have
Yeah.
their 2 second ride at Epcot. It's like
Yeah.
it's like 38 seconds long, and you have to wait an hour and a half to ride it.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. It's I,
Zoot-
I'm
Zootopia coming in.
cautiously
To Animal
optimistic.
Kingdom.
Yeah, Animal Kingdom. That park needs some love, like big
Yeah.
time. Honestly,
That's been my rant.
that's been your rant. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I'd say studios fix the problem that Tower Terror's having with the lines because that's unacceptable. Um,
Studios is fine though.
but studios is fine. I say, yeah, add a couple of things here and there. That Cars thing
Sure.
it's trash. You can probably build something better back there, right? Um, and then retheme Roller Coaster to Sonic the Hedgehog. What the heck are you waiting for, bro? And I don't know, but I feel bad for the 7,000 cast members that are being needlessly let go, in my opinion. And that said, not all of them are in the U.S. There's a lot of international cast members that are getting caught too. This is not only here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what we're told. Bro, the worst thing that they could have done is that freaking Shanghai park. It's beautiful, but no one goes to that park, and China's still in
Yeah.
lockdown. That was the
It's
worst.
tough. It's tough.
That was the worst. Like it's I don't know. That should have
It's
been
tough.
that park should have been built in Texas, not Shanghai.
I mean, it seems though like the stuff that they have in that park is so cool.
Yeah,
There's some
yeah,
really cool stuff.
yep. That park should have been in Texas.
Would love to go there someday.
Yeah, again you didn't need another park in Shanghai. That park needed to be in the U.S. Yeah, that park needed to be in Texas, right in the middle of both, right? Yeah, honestly, I mean, if you're concerned about weather, probably like South Texas is it's probably gonna like San Antonio was probably is a good spot for a Disney park. So, uh, well, I mean that's said and done. I mean we don't know where this is going. They can still pull it off, but um, yeah. So there's a story about Kevin Feige almost getting fired back in 2015. What's up with that, dude?
Yeah, so back in 2015, Ike Perlmutter was pushing to get Kevin Feige fired because of them on a personal note clashing. And a lot of it had to do with the news that I'm pretty sure I've mentioned a few times on the podcast, mentioned to you about how um, Feige, for example, like he wanted a Black Widow movie from a long time ago, and he wanted, Captain Marvel, and he wanted Black Panther, and Ike Perlmutter was a man out of time, and he didn't think that those kinds of characters would sell well. It was old Hollywood, right? And really, Feige, like I've mentioned before, he had to get a restructure. He had to have a restructure at Disney happen to go over Perlmutter to go straight up to Iger, right? But yeah, Perlmutter did not like Feige at all for the kind of projects that he was working on, and he thought he was going to ruin the MCU. And of course, he was very wrong. So, he it ended up being Ike that ended up getting the shift out, which is pretty poetic in its own way. But my goodness, that's crazy to think that Bob Iger saved Feige from losing his job
Yeah.
in 2015 when, I mean, what, Age of Ultron was coming out at that time?
Um.
2014, 15?
Yeah. Yeah. 15 was Age of Ultron. Yeah.
Age of Ultron, right?
Well, was 14?
So,
One or the other. Yeah.
yeah, but it's like you up to that movie, I mean, like the worst movies you had was like Thor: The Dark World,
Iron Man
it was a
2.
Iron Man 2, yeah.
But
Like these
even
movies,
again, Iron Man 2 is like criminally underrated. I think it's actually quite
yeah,
enjoyable. So
yeah, same.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, and this all ties back to the now defunct I guess proxy war that was going on with Nelson Peltz and him trying to insert himself into the Disney board. He had a call with I think MSNBC or CNBC and said that based on what he's heard, they're moving the company in the right track, and he's no longer going to attempt and join the board. But that said, who's to say that it could happen again? So
Exactly.
he said it himself. He's like, "Oh, we'll monitor it and we'll see how it goes." So yeah, um, it's money, man. It talks. So
For real.
we'll have to wait and see what happens with Disney. This could be a multi-year, kind of thing for them. But you know, if again my and I'm a nobody. I'm a dude on the internet. But again, my suggestion to Disney as a lifelong fan is that you need to fill the company with people that care at the end of the day, and people that know the product, people that love the product, not in passing.
Yeah.
And you gotta make the right choices when it comes to the people that are managing a lot of these things. And we've seen it with Star Wars. We've seen it with a little bit with Pixar. Getting a little too off the rails. And of course we see it at the parks. So that's my final thoughts on that. Before jumping into the chariot, so there was a cast member preview, Joe, and I think it was a cast member and media preview for
Yeah.
Light Cycle Run at the Magic Kingdom, and yeah, we're back to people not fitting on the cars properly. This one seems to be more of a height issue more than anything. So it doesn't seem to be because you are not round, but tall.
How many TikToks and video reviews have you seen?
Of this, none.
Okay. Might change your perspective if you see a few.
Okay.
Um,
The problem is both horizontally and vertically.
yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to keep this a straight face. I'm gonna try. But seriously, literally, someone sent me a TikTok for an example. This cast member, she did a preview, her and this other guy. They both were doing it. Um, you know, her problem, believe it or not, was like her ankles were like too big, couldn't fit. Um,
I'm not gonna say the word. I'm not
yep.
gonna say the word.
So
Bill
I'm trying.
Clinton was supposed to be a big fan of those.
Okay, so then this guy, his problem was the top, right? Like the backing is like the same like with
Oh,
like Pandora, right? With
okay.
the Flight of Passage.
Okay.
Have you done Flight of Passage
I
yet? I don't
haven't.
think
I
you
haven't.
have, right? So the backing comes back and snaps you right on the back. And I guess for him it wouldn't close. It wouldn't hit in the right way it was supposed to. So his feet were good, but his top wasn't. So literally had to, switch. So it's just interesting. You're seeing like it's not just like in the ways that you would think that these size problems of fitting onto this ride. Like it is a very, very particular type of
Mm-hmm.
um individual that's going to be more comfortable. Not that these people can ride. They so
Yeah.
there's a
Yeah.
few of them I saw they can ride it. So that's good. Because that was it's obviously a concern. But like the issue is more so like there's gonna be a lot of people who are uncomfortable with it and not gonna be able to ride it the way they want to. But that's why the I can't with you. That's why the chariot.
I'm, tr- I'm trying to keep a straight face, Joe. I
Oh
know
my
you're
gosh.
struggling. I know you're struggling.
This is something.
Yeah, but still, yeah. I mean, for those, the chariot's still an option. So, um, yeah. Can't wait to write it. If I can fit in one of those cards, we'll guess we'll wait and see. Time will tell on that one.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
hoping to get a preview at some point,
yeah.
just to see it, check it out myself. If I
Cool.
do, obviously I'll keep everybody posted. I hope to be fine. But it's a thing. It's a lot of if you literally, I know, different demographics and people, but if people who are on TikTok, if you literally just start searching Tron, just look at what the other top phrases are associated with it, and you start to see that there is definitely a problem. For a lot of people are reporting on the same types of things.
I'll check it out. I'll check it out. Um, Joe, let's take a quick break and we'll talk Nintendo here in a second. And we are back. All right. So Joel and I discussed offline the word. All right. So pretty big news for Nintendo, man. The Switch officially outsold the Game Boy and the PS4,
Oh, it's amazing.
exceeding 120 million units, and it is the third best-selling console ever. And good for them. Now
Oh,
there's
it's amazing.
now they're saying that sales are indeed slowing down. Again, Nintendo, don't do it like Disney, man. Don't milk it. You gotta stay fresh. You gotta come out with that upgraded Switch. You don't have to change the Switch. Just gotta give it a more powerful CPU, GPU.
Unlimited power.
It doesn't have to be unlimited. Just a little bit more. It's a little more, man. Um, but yeah, good for them. This is a huge milestone, and it looks like sales are gonna keep on rolling, man. This year, we'll talk about it in a second, but it seems to be another big year for the big end. So
Yeah, Nintendo having a great year. I do agree. Hopefully, they do announce, even if it doesn't come out this year, Obed, you need an announcement this year for a new like version. It would make sense for it to come out this year, but if for whatever reason they don't, like you gotta like build up this anticipation. Hey, I don't know,
yeah.
first quarter of 2024, get this
So
thing.
I got a new prediction.
Hold on,
I'm
before
gonna
you say that
yeah yeah
though,
yeah.
the thing is that puts them in a tight spot is if you make an announcement this year, people are gonna hold off buying for the holidays a Switch, and that's gonna affect next year's sales.
Yep.
Like,
Here's what I think it's going on. Nintendo already paid for the allocation, hardware allocation for the OLED, and they're going. I think that the plan is to blow out the OLED when Zelda comes out, and
mm,
they're gonna blow out that inventory. You do the bundle, the special edition Switch for Zelda that got leaked, which some of the markings and writings that are on the collector's edition box match those that are in the Joy Cons. So we are to assume that the leak was correct,
right.
but I can see them in like July coming out with a Nintendo Direct, and it's like, oh, this is gonna be about in October. You know, that I could totally see that. So that's my new
Mm,
prediction. I'm changing it. Like
okay.
I'm
Okay.
still planning on eating that shrimp. I cannot either confirm nor deny that he may or may not be either real or alive or whatever or dead or fried or I
Well,
don't know.
hopefully not alive. A live shrimp.
A live
Oh
shrimp.
my god.
Pinch my.
Oh my gosh.
That's gross. Cooked is gross too. I don't know. Okay. So yeah, that's my new prediction. I'm still eating crow because I missed the one for Zelda, but I think it's just that they do have a chipset allocation that they need to go through, and they're not gonna miss the opportunity because they probably already paid for all those chips and screens.
Mhm.
So, the screens they may just use the same one, right? Same with the Joy Cons. It's just that the chipsets are probably already bought and paid for. So, and that's why they have to run with that. Um, but in other Nintendo news, I will say that suspected Nintendo Direct actually dropped this week, and it's pretty good stuff. So we started with a big one, right? Somebody Amigo is back. We have not had Samba since the Dreamcast, if I'm not wrong, and this is a big deal. So yeah, Samba de Amigo Party Central coming to the Switch this summer. You can use your Joy Cons as the maracas. Unfortunately, there's no maracas like the Dreamcast version. So, but still pretty good. Of course, all joking aside, Zelda was the big headliner, so we did see a little bit more footage of that. I don't need to see anything else. I
Right.
am pre-ordered. I was not. I did not pre-order the collector's edition. It's 130, which I think is excessive. I did pre-ordered it and pre-ordered the amiibo. Um, Going to the pre-order, $70 for a Switch game, Joel.
Man.
So it's the first Nintendo game coming out. Oh wait, not it's not the first Nintendo game coming out $70. It is the first Nintendo game at $70 since probably the Nintendo 64. Because in the
Yeah. Yeah.
90s, games used to be a lot more expensive than now. Just people don't realize it. It's like, I'm really mad because this game's $10 more. It's like, bro, you used to pay $100 for Street Fighter 2 on SNES and $80 for Strider, a game you can finish in 17 minutes. And, you know, that sort of thing. But, I don't want to digress too much on that. But yeah, what do you think of the $70 price point, sir?
Um, Obviously, I don't like it, but from an economic standpoint, I get it. So, like, just as you know, put it this way: when I see stuff go up like that, it's like you have to ask yourself, how amazing is this game gonna be? How much great values behind it? And that's where it's like they get you because it's like, oh, I gotta have this, so I'm gonna cough up the money. I'm not saying that it's by any chance manipulating, but I also understand that this is a business, and for a business, there's certain levels of profitability and
Yeah.
numbers they got to hit, and that's I think that's the only reason why they do it. I don't think it's out of greed. I
Yeah,
think
yeah, yeah.
sometimes we're quick to point the finger on
Oh, no,
that
no,
kind
no,
of
no, no.
thing,
Not at
and we
all.
understand there's a bigger economic decisions behind this as a
Totally.
business. So yeah, I don't like it as a consumer, but I get it as a business person.
Totally. I mean, and it's a game that you can get 100 hours,
Right.
and and if you're equating playtime to, again, we're going back to Strider on the Genesis being $80, and it's a game that you can finish in 17 minutes. Um, if you equate, money with time when it comes to games, then you're fine. Like Elden Ring, Elden Ring, dude, Elden Ring is such a premium product that that game could have sold for like $80, in my
Oh, for
opinion. In
sure.
my opinion, right? So is God of War. I'm not giving Sony any ideas. And Horizon. I think those three games, dude, are premium products that you could probably ask for more money. And the same goes for Zelda. Um, they're testing the waters, and they're gonna run with it. And from now on, any Zelda Mario, right, main game, right, and I'm talking about like the next 3D Mario is probably gonna be 70. Zelda's gonna be 70. Metroid Prime 4 is probably gonna be 70. Like all these games when they come out, that they're probably, it could be that they're gearing up for the next thing that's coming out, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they're just making the market kind of like, it's like, okay, here's a glimpse of what's to come, right? So get used to it. But I don't see a reason why this is all about greed and whatnot. It's like, it's fine. It's still gonna sell millions. I mean, people complain about it, and you're still gonna buy it.
Right.
So, whatever, you know. So it's $10 more. So how about don't eat that pizza, the slice of pizza that you wanted to eat today? Stay home, make yourself a sandwich, save those $10. How about the next time that you want to buy some food, don't order DoorDash and save those $10 from DoorDash and just go pick it up yourself. There you go. There's your $10. So I don't know. I'm giving you life
I
advice
mean,
here, man.
I won't attack. I won't attack the consumer. I think they're fair to voice the dislike of it. But then there's like to your point, like the overtly I can't believe we're like,
Yeah,
whoa,
inconceivable. Yep.
you're
So
only looking at through one lens.
yeah, totally.
Put it into reality.
Yep. The Metroid Prime remastered, which is based remastered of the first Metroid Prime game that came out originally on GameCube, was shadow dropped. So that is available right now on the eShop, coming out on the 22nd of February as a physical version. They showed a new gameplay video of Pikmin 4 that looks super cute. Pikmin wasn't never my thing, but I think those games are interesting. DLC for Splatoon 3. Splatoon's a big deal for Nintendo. Those games sell really, really well. And you're expanding on the latest version. That's definitely going to get you somewhere. Advance Wars finally has a release date, April 21st. And the other big announcement is that Game Boy and Game Boy Advanced are available on Switch. This was also shadow dropped. The Game Boy Advance, you do need the Switch Online expansion. So the N64 Sega Genesis
Okay.
expansion for GBA. Original Game Boy is available, and there's 9 games. Tested it out, works pretty good.
Okay.
I think that I told my daughter, it's like, hey, you're gonna finally be able to play Super Mario Land 2, which I think is a great game. I had it back in the day. Um, and that I think that's a pretty good little game. And there's some good stuff there, but not much at the moment. So I'm looking forward for them expanding some of those selections. Now I'm considering the expansion pack because now there's games that are definitely trapped in GBA that may want to try. But yeah, man, what do you think?
Yeah, this was one of those things that made me think of like the conversations we'd had in the past about how we liked backwards compatibility with, PS5 and how it just makes sense to throw some extra classics on there and give people an opportunity to play things that they can't play if they don't have these old consoles, like,
Yeah,
bring it to the modern age. This to me seems like a no-brainer. And kudos to them for to not just always just push forward with stuff that's already in the pipeline, but go backwards and grab something that shouldn't be too hard to put into a modern console and give people an opportunity to play games that they just wouldn't haven't been able to play otherwise. Like it's this is not something that's gonna be groundbreaking news, but it's something that like gamers like us would appreciate the effort, and hopefully, like you said, they will continue to grow the library out. I'm sure it's just going to be something a matter of time, but no, this is a step in the right direction. Nintendo, man, they really come across like they hear the fans and they respect their fans and their community, and it's really awesome when you see stuff like this.
yeah, yeah. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
There's a reason why they're doing so well right now. But not I mean not to divert too much because we're basically out of time. But Sony also came out and said that they had a very strong holiday season. I think it was like 36 million PS5s already.
Yeah.
So PS5 selling really well. You can pretty much buy one right now. Let me see. Let me go to Best Buy because they're there.
I saw on the Nintendo Direct website, Nintendo, sorry, PlayStation Direct store, you can buy PS5 easily right now online.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Best Buy even has store pickup for the bundle
Nice,
with a God of War bundle.
nice.
The digital has to be like per store, but they do have it available with the God of War bundle, so it's available everywhere right now. Um, yeah, man. Good stuff. So
Random, really
yeah,
quick random
go ahead,
note
man.
to you. Have you been seeing the stuff about how your PS5 should not be vertical and it melting?
Oh, I doubt it.
You haven't seen it? Okay.
I doubt
There's a
it. Yeah,
lot of
I've
people
seen.
saying like, "Oh, you need to put it on its side, like there's an error in it over
I
time."
saw it. I mean, it's still it's because it's liquid metal. I doubt it's actually leaking as bad as they say. You know why I doubt it? Because liquid metals used on PCs and PCs are all very vertical.
It's true.
So that's why I don't buy it
I
100%.
mean, it does look like it's built like a PC when you look at
Yeah,
it the
yeah,
way it is, bro.
yeah. So I mean, I had it vertical for like a year and a half, and I put it
Yeah.
horizontal not too long ago. So I think I put it horizontal before the hurricanes hit. I was like, you know what? Before hurricane season last year,
Okay.
I moved it. So I moved it where I had it because I had it next to the TV stand because it's freaking so big. It's like, and I told the wife, it's like, listen, I gotta put this thing on top of the TV stand. There's no way. So it stayed there and it's fine. But
Nice.
yeah, man. So what we got? Go ahead, and wrap it up.
Absolutely. Thank you all so much for sticking with us. Another great episode. We invite you to stay connected to our podcast. So make sure you are subscribed to No Load Time on the podcast platforms of your choice. Places like Spotify, SoundCloud, Amazon Music, Apple. You can find us on these places. Hit the subscribe button. Also, you can write us a review on these podcast platforms. That really helps us out. We're not getting any money from this podcast, and we're not asking you to give money, but your support by simply writing a review, hitting the subscribe button goes such a far way, and we really, really would appreciate that. We also ask you if you would subscribe to our YouTube channel, No Load Time on YouTube. You can subscribe there, hit the like button on those videos, drop a comment. We'd love to hear from you. We really welcome it. Additionally, you can follow us on social media at No Load Time. That's at No Load Time. Places like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. You can also follow us No Load Time Altogether on Twitch. No Load Time Altogether on Twitch. Today's episode was a little technical issues. We apologize for that, but please make sure you give us a follow there. Great way to watch us or our live stream of our broadcast. Additionally, you can send us an email to noloadtime@gmail.com. That's noloadtime@gmail.com. Questions, comments, feedback, you name it, send us a message. We'd love to hear from you. And, maybe what you send may even be brought up in a future episode. There's always that possibility. But thank you all so much for sticking with us. And we'll be back with you next week where we will have news from the Super Bowl. We will also have Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania come out, which I will be seeing. So we'll have some really good discussions around that next week. Stick with us. More to
Flash
come.
trailer and a bunch of stuff. Thank you guys. Sorry about the technical issues, but you guys have a great weekend and stay safe. We'll see you again next time.